Welcome into Brady's Breakdown, the Five Reasons Sports Network. I'm Brady Hawk, and I wanted to dive into some film from the Miami Heat's win over the Chicago Bulls on Saturday night. It was an interesting win. They had a great lead, lost the lead, had some negatives late in the game, but what we're going to do today is just look at some of the positives from this game because obviously the first half had plenty of them, and then late in the fourth had plenty of them. So let's hop right into it. So we're going to see right here on the first play, just Kendrick Nunn attacking. But if we go back a little bit, you're going to want to watch the perimeter with Bam Adebayo and Duncan Robinson. At this point in the game, Duncan Robinson just hit 3 threes basically to begin the game. So now he has the hot hand. They're just trying to find some open space for him, which is never easy. But if I go back right here, you're going to see right immediately, Bam tries to set the off-ball screen for Duncan. He comes around it, immediately flows back into a dribble handoff, which he's not had many dribble handoff opportunities this season. They basically eliminated that from his game. And, we'll see a little bit later, but he's just running a lot more stuff higher up behind the three-point line, high pick and roll stuff, having to put the ball on the floor. But actually, early in this first quarter, it was one of the few games that he's actually had opportunities with dribble handoffs. That says a lot about, probably the team they're playing in Chicago. But it is interesting that, a game that he ends up having 7 threes is the game where he's able to have some opportunities early. So it just kind of shows the level of effectiveness he would have if he was able to have these opportunities. But as we see right here, he comes off the dribble handoff, fires. It's as open look as Duncan will ever get, knocks it down to start the game 4-4 from beyond the arc. And that's just the way it's always going to be with Duncan Robinson if he gets those opportunities. So let's hop right in the next one. Uh, this is, late in the first quarter. Gabe Vincent's obviously playing because Goran and Tyler were out. But we're going to want to see here is Dedmon. Dwayne Dedmon had a pretty, similar game. We're going to see right here, goes up, grabs the board, and that's exactly what he's doing. But let me pause right here. An interesting thing about this play, it doesn't really show here, but linking back to like with the times with Precious Achua and different things like that, he would go right back up with it. And that was kind of an issue at times. It was always if you got an offensive rebound, it's never resetting the play. It's just trying to get, quick putback or things like that. But Dwayne Dedmon is, just an high IQ veteran. So as we're seeing, he gets the rebound, throws it right back out. We're going to see Duncan, get an opportunity, pass to Kendrick Nunn. Kendrick Nunn goes up, and I don't know how, but Dwayne Dedmon grabs the board on the other side, lays it in. That's kind of what his role will be. That's why, we're going to talk about not seeing Namaha Bielitsa, not seeing Preston Chua, and I don't expect to see, any of them for significant minutes this season when Dwayne Dedmon has an opportunity to play off the bench. So let's hop right into the next one. Another opportunity with Gabe Vincent in. He runs a lot of their sets surprisingly as a two-way guy. Max Strus over here as well, running a lot of their sets. It's pretty intriguing that they can, plug the guys in like that, but that's just the way it goes. So as we go right here, they're going to set it up for Bam on the wing, on the elbow. And as we're going to see right here, he faces up. He has plenty of space. And you notice that right here. What you're going to see right here is that, the jab step has always been his friend. He's very good with that jab step. He can work a lot of things. He can, jab and then go left. But as we see right here, as I play it, he jabs, immediately drives right off of that, goes right by him and lays it in. That's just the versatility of Bam Adebayo, that he can take guys off the dribble like that when he faces them up. That's why we always look at him not being as great of a post-up guy. But when he has somebody on their heels like that, he's pretty hard to stop. So, we're going to see that right here as well as I go into the next one. Bam Adebayo, grabs the board, dribbles the ball down the floor. This is a type of play that you don't see many centers doing. Slowly takes 2 steps, lays it in with the left hand. These, like I said, these are not things you see your center doing most of the time, but, Bam Adebayo should not be labeled as a center because he's basically their point guard most of the time. And just seeing him do things like that just really shows the level of talent that he is, just what that he can give them on a nightly basis. Let's see another one. This is defensively. As I go back a little bit, Kendrick Nunn, he's had his ups and downs defensively. Even this season, he's had his downs, but he's also had games like against Golden State where he just played really, good on that end. He has the capability of doing it. But one area that he really struggled with last year was getting stuck behind screens, basically being eliminated from plays like this when they were trying to run a pick and roll. But as we see right here, he angles, fights through it. When he wants to be, he can. Iguodala, gets the ball, sets them up in the offense. And this just highlights what Andre Iguodala does for this team. He's probably not going to play. I think he's ruled out for Monday against Chicago against the same team, but he's really their offensive, anchor in these type of lineups without Jimmy. He gets them going, facilitates the offense, allows Bam to play off the ball. And as we see right here, he's going to wait for Kendrick Nunn to get down the floor. hits them right in the spot, and Kendrick Nunn attacks the rim. And it's another thing about Kendrick Nunn, without Victor Oladipo playing, they missed that downhill threat, as we talk about over and over, you know, on this team, other than Jimmy and Bam. They don't have that guy that can really get to the rim like that. But, when Kendrick wants to be, he can be real explosive when trying to get off the ball and, make plays like that. So as we see right there, he does draw the foul. And that kind of says a lot about Kendrick's game as well. So let's hop into the next one. Another one with Bam, working the offense. Let me go back a little bit because this is where, another thing where Duncan kind of really changes things for the offense on a nightly basis. So they're basically expecting him to just, run off, you know, right here to the wing or to the top of the key to kind of get a good look. But Duncan slowly pushes his defender more and more to basically screen off Bam's guy. Bam notices, immediately goes off it, and has one of the nastiest dunks, of this season for Bam, which has been many of them. But the things that Duncan does to kind of create for Bam, we always talk about the dribble handoffs Bam does for Duncan. It goes both ways because Duncan really does create for Bam and opportunities like that. And it talks about, the constant off ball screening that Duncan does for this team to kind of flow their offense. As Eric Spoelstra mentioned, he's basically, what makes their offense run on a nightly basis. Another one, we're going to see Duncan Robinson again, top of the key. Let me go back a little bit more. We're going to see where he's lined up again. This is, you're always going to want to watch this kind of evolve. The level that he's at, the logo right now, basically waiting for a screen, just tells you, how crazy it is that he's basically evolving in this direction. So as we see right here, he waits for Jimmy Butler to come up and set the screen. And now this is the part of Duncan's game that I did not expect to come this quickly. This is not a pass I expected him to make at this, at this stage. But as we see right here, he comes off this high pick and roll, and throws a lead pass to Jimmy right here and leads to a foul. And that's a pretty hard pass to make. And it's not one you'd expect Duncan Robinson to be making at this stage. So that type of play just really says a lot about the different growth that they can, unlock in their offense when he's making passes like that. And it also, it changes things when he has 7 threes because he's able to basically, he's already being watched by the defense all night. But when you're hitting 7 threes, you got eyes on you even more. So that opens up those type of things as well. This is the last one of the first half. We're just going to basically see Bam. If we go back a little bit, Bam as on the left, elbow type again. But as you're going to want to watch is the 3 guys at the top. You're going to see it right here. Trevor Ariza sets the screen for Strus to run back door. Bam's watching that first option. But as you see, now Jimmy comes over. He sets the screen as Ariza pops out. And Ariza gets an open look. Now he doesn't make it, but these are just the different things that Miami has in their offense as I played again. That they can, have different options with a guy like Trevor Ariza at the 4, that they can use him to kind of pop off and things like that. And, and he can be utilized in the spot that Strus was right there and come off the back door, which he's been very good at making those instinctive cuts, which is something they, didn't have with that small ball 4. When they had Kelly Olynyk, it was just, they had to utilize him a lot differently, but seeing the ways that they're just kind of, running things, not to always compare it to Jay Crowder, but it's the type of usage that he was used in the playoffs last season as well. So now we're going to go to the fourth quarter. The Chicago Bulls came all the way back. You see, they're only down 5. There was some negatives in that second half to begin that they even got to this point. But we're going to see right here, late in games, it's Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo. Something I want to mention, something I've been talking about a lot. We're not seeing as much Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo. A reason for them coming back basically is that they have to stagger Jimmy and Bam's minutes so much because you just cannot live with putting them both on the bench. So you have to stagger them a bit. And that basically means in those minutes in that third quarter or beginning of the fourth that I didn't show, it becomes a lot of Bam looking for back cuts. It becomes a lot of Bam just trying to be the passing guy. And it becomes a lot of Jimmy just trying to drive and kick and do those type of things. And it just doesn't lead to a lot of offense. And when they get in those type of spurts, it just really hurts them. So when now you see Jimmy enters, Bam is still in, and now they can basically, when they need a bucket in different spots, they can run Jimmy, Bam, pick and rolls, and that's where they're most effective. As we see right here, Bam on the elbow again, Duncan once again. Duncan does all the small things. I go back a little bit. Jimmy gets it to him. Duncan comes over, sets the screen when he's not looking. Bam gets it to him, and Jimmy hits the tough layup. Those are the type of things that he does as well. The following play, right after this play, they're playing defense right here. You're going to see Trevor Ariza at the top of the key is never a matchup anybody wants to see in Chicago. He just makes your life terrible with the amount of length he has, the quickness he has, especially late in the fourth when you have to kind of lock it up. But right here, as I go back a little bit, Jimmy is really good at defending the post for some reason. It doesn't matter the size of the guy as the player that's trying to back him down. He's really a smart post defender that he knows when to reach. He knows when to pull the chair. He knows when to just use his strength. And as we see right here, he tries to get it in, goes for the reach, gets an extra opportunity. Now they're going to get into their offense. And, this is the part of the game where it's basically Jimmy time. Jimmy's going to close this thing out. It almost looks like a horn set they're going to run, but they basically go into an ISO for Jimmy to basically back him down. He turns around, pump fakes, knocks it down, and basically, put the game, much needed bucket, even though there was still some other chances that Chicago had later on. These are the type of things that, Jimmy's going to have to do late in games, even if it is a game against Chicago. You just feel really comfortable when you have those type of sets, when you have Jimmy and Bam closing games for you. So thank you for watching Brady's Breakdown. Leave a comment. Tell me what you want me to discuss next time. See you soon.